morning everyone, it's Rachel from Sweet and Simple Home, and today I'm going to do a requested video, and that is to show you how I do homeschooling here at home. Now if that's not something that you do or you're interested in, that's totally fine. I will have some ideas for you if you have young children and you want to kind of supplement their education with some things at home, or maybe just even organize a calendar set up in your home. We'll have some ideas for you in this video, so stay tuned. Here is our calendar setup, and this is where we go in the morning. First, when Molly wakes up, she goes and gets her breakfast and sits down, and I read a little devotional, and then we come here. And I've taught Molly a little Days of the Week song, so we practice the Days of the Week. It's to the tune of the Addams Family song. Sunday, and there's Monday, there's Tuesday, and there's Wednesday. And then when it goes the da-da-da-da, you say Days of the Week, Days of the Week, and it's just fun. So we do that, and then we talk about what day today is, we talk about what day yesterday was, we talk about what day it is tomorrow, we count down how many more days until ballet class, we count down how many days till Halloween, when it was 100 days till Christmas, we talked about that. It's a really good way, calendar is a really good way to start teaching time and timed words, like yesterday, today, tomorrow. Like often when you'll talk to a 5-year-old, they'll say, well, last year I went and did this, when it was like 2 days ago. So the concept of a year, a week, a month, a day, those are the things that you're teaching in application of the calendar. So I really like this calendar. I picked this up at the Dollar Tree for $1, and it was already in this little sleeve, so I can easily put dry erase over it. And then I pull it out and pull off the month when we're done with that month. So up here, I just kind of made this with what I had on hand, and I've just pinned up the different things that we're doing today. So we start with morning work, and I'll show you what that means. Then she does her chores, then I teach a lesson, then they get to watch a show, and then it's lunchtime. So while they're watching their show, I can jump in at the shower or get a workout in, or just make lunch. And then we have lunch, and then they get to play. Then Molly does 10 minutes of quiet reading time, and then she gets 10 minutes of computer time or more if she's earned it, and then it's rest or room time. And I have this here, whoops, and I just dropped it, but it's just extra, like things like art, choice, outings, things like that will just, you know, help us if we're something different. Then here is weather. I just printed these offline. They're just little clip arts of different kinds of weather. Today it's raining, so that's the one that's showing in the front. So we'll talk about weather, we'll look at the sky, we'll talk about the clouds, we'll talk about the season. I don't have a season spot here yet, but maybe I will do that eventually. So then there's that, and this is just on this little bump out next to my stairwell, so it worked out really well to have this board. And then here I have this pocket, and this pocket holds her morning work, and this folder holds the stuff for the lesson. So let me go show you what I mean by morning work. So morning work is work that Molly can do 100% by herself, or mostly by herself, that she goes and gets and does independently to start out our day. And I got this idea from actually how I ran my kindergarten classroom. The kids dropped off their bags, and then they went and got their morning workbook and did their morning work. So part of Molly's morning work includes a name notebook, where she writes down her name, address, phone number, those kinds of things, and I've just written them in highlighter, and she goes over them, and by the end she should be able to do it completely independently. This just takes a couple minutes for her to do, and it's just really good practice. Then after that, she comes and grabs this notebook, and I let her decorate the covers of her notebooks just to make it fun. But I got this idea because I used to start out the day with a morning message for my class, and I had it on this little whiteboard easel, and it was just a great way to introduce things, to have review, to practice phonemic awareness, syllables, all those kinds of things. And so I wanted to find a way to incorporate that into homeschool, and I came up with this idea of a notebook. I got this notebook at Walmart. It has the lines on the bottom and space for a picture at the top. It was $2.50, and it's been working so great. So let me show you. This is an example of what I did with math one day. It says, good morning, Molly. If I had 3 apples and Liam ate 1, how many apples would I have left? Draw a picture. Love, Mommy. So this is a basic word problem, and she drew the 2 apples and then Liam with 1, and then this is supposed to be the number 2. And so that's a really good way to do some math, and then I'll show you today's. We did a lesson on sentence structure yesterday, so I had her fix the sentence this morning. Good morning, Molly. Can you fix what is wrong with my sentence? And I wrote it with a lowercase. She didn't like my L. That wasn't necessary, but whatever. And I forgot a space, and I didn't put punctuation. So she went through and changed the beginning to a capital. She added the space and then punctuation, and then that's how she fixed it. So that was review of a new topic that I introduced yesterday. And how I introduced it yesterday was, I wrote, good morning, Molly. Do you know what a sentence is? Today we will learn about sentences. Here is a sentence just for you. I love you. Can you write me a sentence? Love, Mommy. And so here's what her sentence was before the lesson. I love you, Mommy. It was kind of like all over the place. And then by the time I finished the lesson, here's what she was able to do on her own. There's the little question mark. So that was a really good introduction. It was a good piece for me to get knowledge of where she was before I started the lesson, and this is just an awesome thing. You could easily use this even if your kids are in school. A good way to reinforce, just check in with them, give them extra practice, or just write back and forth with your child. So this is a really good idea, and I'm glad that I'm doing this. So there's that. She also has her core words on a ring, and she just goes through and practices those. Pretty self-explanatory. I add a couple more every, week or so. And this is her poetry notebook. Again, borrowed this from my classroom. And into here are things that she can read 100% by herself. So I have in here a Brown Bear retail book that another kindergarten teacher that I worked with had, that she made it just on her computer, and I totally stole it. So it would be easy to make something like this yourself with Brown Bear, whatever book your kids are really into. We're studying Eric Carle right now, so this was perfect. So we used that, and I let her color it before we started reading it. And this is a book I got at the Dollar Tree. These are awesome. I wish I had bought more at the time. If your Dollar Tree still has them, go get them because they go quickly. But it has lots of little kindergarten words. This is the bag. Where is it? And so it's good because it also reinforced the picture clue idea, that you look at the picture clue to help you. So there's that, and she reads both of those. And then she has a Months of the Year song that I've taught her, and she can go through and read it. And I just made this on the computer. John 3:16, Romans 3:23, and then the apple tree poem that I taught her. This was also from my classroom. I think I found it somewhere online. So if you're interested, you can just Google that, and I'm sure it'll show up. And then I'm going to add next month the pumpkin song, Itsy Bitsy Spider, and another Bible verse. And so by the end of the year, she's going to have this full of scriptures and poems and songs that she knows. And then these I will switch out every probably 2 or 3 weeks. Right now we're still just getting in the habit of practicing. And then that is her morning work. After she finishes all of that, she puts these back in the little file thingy, and she goes and does her chores. So let me talk to you about lessons real quick. So I am holding Liam, so this might be a little wiggly. But this is how I schedule my lessons. So this is this little book I showed you guys that I got at Walmart for 97 cents. It's working really well. Mondays and Wednesdays are reading and writing. You see the RW. Tuesday is math and science. Reading and writing again on Wednesday. Thursday is math and social studies. Shh, bud. And then Friday is choice, art, and handwriting. Okay. Yep, I'm okay. I need you to be quiet so I can talk. So today our lesson is we're making an apple graph, and we're talking about what makes a good friend. Tomorrow we're going to do some handwriting, and she has choice. So she can choose from games or computer time or, whatever. I was going to do an art project, but I'm not sure we're going to have time this Friday. So it's just handwriting and choice this Friday. So how I structure my lesson is I look online at the core standards that my state has published, and I make lesson plans based on what the state is requiring kindergartners to know, and I look at what I have in my arsenal of lessons using Pinterest to fill in, and I do a lot of what I call I do, we do, you do lessons, where I model something, then we do it together, and then she does it independently, which is what I did with the sentence yesterday. I wrote 3 sentences and showed her what they looked like. We talked about capitals and the spaces and the punctuation, and then she helped me write a sentence, and then she wrote one by herself. And that's how I do a lot of my instruction, is I do, we do, you do. And that's kind of something I learned when I was in college, and that's just worked really well. So we're going to go ahead and do our lesson right now, and that's the basis of how we do homeschool. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care, guys. Bye. So Molly is working right now on an apple graph. This is, again, something I had when I was a kindergarten teacher, but I'm sure you could find something similar on Pinterest. But there's just red, yellow, and green, and we went through a bowl of apples and made a graph on the floor. I used to use poster board for this in my classroom and kind of like laid out, but we just pretended there were lines for the graph. And we talked about which one is the greatest, which one is the least, if I took this away, which ones are equal, if I added this here, how many more would they have? You know, we just kind of went through and talked about that. Now, we didn't have any like truly yellow apples, so we counted this one as a yellow. But yeah, so then she takes this information and puts it into the graph. So each rectangle represents an apple. So it's a good introduction to graphing. So was that a fun lesson, Molly? Mm-hmm. And Liam is enjoying an apple. And one of the things I do to give him, to keep him happy during homeschool, is he just has an old, like, a Relay for Life notebook that I got when I used to help with Relay for Life. And I write his name down, and he just colors, and it just keeps him busy. So, anyway, that's just a typical homeschool lesson. You say bye?
Bye. Bye.